Hello everyone, it's Karen. Welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, something I've never done before. This is going to be a ranking video of all the Beatles albums. Now before we go, I want to sort of explain why I've not been making a video for a while. I've been quite busy with a college course that I've recently started. I haven't really found much time to make as much videos as I hoped, and plus I've not had much ideas as I hoped. So last night I was just on YouTube and I was looking at some people ranking the Beatles albums, and I'd always thought about doing a ranking album video, but I never really got around to it. But now it is the moment. So we're going to do the Beatles. As you can see, they're my favourite band, so I thought it makes sense to do it on the Beatles, and I've seen quite a few people do it, so I thought I would jump on the bandwagon and do it. So this is going over all the 13 studio albums. Yes, it includes Yellow Submarine and Magical Mystery Tour, because they are part of the Beatles catalogue, even though some people might not include them, but I thought we'd include them anyway. So now, if I say least favourite, it doesn't mean they're terrible or bad, it just means that they're not as good as previous, as some of the albums we'll discuss. So anyways, let's get started. So number 13 is Yellow Submarine, 1969, and the reason why this is low is because it's not really a proper Beatles album. And it's really half a Beatles album, and the other half's the George Martin orchestra from the film, which is nice. I like the George Martin music pieces, but there's not many Beatles songs here. The two songs on here from previously released albums, we have Yellow Submarine, All I Need Is Love, but 4 songs that were never before released. Only a Northern Song from the Sgt. Pepper sessions, All Together Now, which is a good song, Hey Bulldog, and It's All Too Much, which does drag on a bit too long. It's never been a favourite of mine. It's all too much. It's been okay, but I quite like Only a Northern Song and All Together Now. All Together Now is quite fun. But yeah, so that's kind of really the reason why it's low, is because it's not really a Beatles album, and it's not their best album out of all their albums. They've done better before, and they did better with the albums after this one. So this is Yellow Submarine from 1969. Number 12 is going to be the Magical Mystery Tour from 1967, and this was never a Beatles album in the UK. It was only an album in America. In the UK over here, it was an EP, a 6-song EP. Doesn't mean it's a bad album, but there are some songs I don't quite like. Magical Mystery Tour is great. Phil on the Hill is great. Flying's a alright instrumental. Not so keen on Blue Jay Way. That's okay. Melody's quite a nice wee upbeat song. I Am the Walrus, and of course the big hits are Hello Goodbye, Strawberry Fields Forever, Penny Lane, Baby You're a Rich Man, and All You Need Is Love. All great songs on the bottom side too. The first side was the EP, and the second half was like singles from the UK. Yeah, it was singles from the UK, because Hello Goodbye was a single, so was Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane. They were back to back. All You Need Is Love and Baby You're a Rich Man were both back to back as a single. So it's not a bad album, but it's not really a proper album in the catalogue, but it's part of the Beatles catalogue in many ways. Yeah, not a bad album again, like Yellow Submarine, not too bad. Number 11 is going to be Beatles For Sale in 1964. And again, it's not a bad album, it's quite good. I actually quite like it a bit more than some people say. It's not a Beatles album I play very often, but it is still a good album nonetheless. I really like, I'll have to read the songs inside the gatefold because there's no songs in the back cover. The songs I really like are Like No Reply, I'm a Loser, I'll Follow the Sun, Mr. Moonlight, I know some people don't like that one, 8 Days a Week, Words of Love, Every Little Thing, I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, What You're Doing is a good song, Embrace Your Be My Beer is a good song. So, all in all, it's not a bad album. It's a good album. I quite like it. I know a lot of people say it was a bit rushed, and it was quite a bit rushed because they recorded the album in between days off on tours, so they had to really kind of get an album done as quick as possible because they had 2 albums to owe EMI a year. So yeah, but not bad album. I quite like it. That's number 11, Beatles For Sale from 1964. Number 10 is going to be Let It Be from 1970, the final album. And again, a not bad album, pretty good. I really like 2 of Us, Dig a Pony, Cross the Universe, I'm in Mind, Let It Be, I've Got a Feeling, The Long Winding Road, and Get Back. The other songs are great. The only 2 I'm not so keen on are Dig It and Maggie May. They're quite short and yeah, a bit pointless. I don't know why they're on the album. Dig It could have been a bit longer. It's not bad, but it just could have been a bit longer. But I don't know why Maggie May was on here, because it's kind of, they do about 40 seconds of it before they stop. I don't know why. I know Paul McCartney was very critical of the mix of this album, especially the song "The Long and Winding Road," because the producer Phil Spector had overdubbed a lot of the songs, orchestra and that. But I actually quite like what Phil Spector did on "The Long and Winding Road." The strings in the orchestra and the choir really add something to some of these songs. So yeah, one album I quite like. Let It Be from 1970. Number 9 is Revolver, 1966. A different album to some of their earlier and later ones, because this is where they began to experiment with backward sounds and various techniques. It's quite evident on some of the songs on the album. I really like Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, Here, There and Everywhere's a nice Paul McCartney song. Yellow Submarine's quite a fun song from Ringo, that was on the Yellow Submarine album as well. Good Day Sunshine, And Your Bird Can Sing, For No One, Got to Get You Into My Life, quite like Dr. Robert, and Tomorrow Never Knows is a pretty cool song. It's quite wacky with the various sound effects and backward sounds, and this is where the Beatles began to experiment it. Quite an interesting one I really like. I know most people would rate this quite higher, but it's number 9 for me. A pretty good album, I'd say. The Beatles, Revolver. Number 8 is going to be the Beatles' White Album. This is their double album from 1968, and you can see the Beatles is embossed there. So there's not really much you can see except for the Beatles' name. Not a bad album, quite like it, but there are some moments that are a bit nah. But other than that, some really like Back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, get hands to read songs inside the gatefold. Like Back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Oobla Dee Oobla Da, While My Guitar Gently Weeps is a great George Harrison song. I'm So Tired, Blackbird, Rocky Raccoon, Don't Pass Me By, Why Don't We Do It in the Road, I Will, Julia, Birthday, Mother Nature's Son, Helter Skelter's a great rocker, Long Long Long's a nice George Harrison song, Revolution 1, Honey Pie, and Good Night's a nice closer on the album. The ones I don't really like Wild Honey Pie, and I really don't like Revolution 9. No, I just never have liked those two songs. But the album as a whole is not bad. It's actually quite a good album. So yeah, not a bad album. I quite like it. This is actually a double album. 1968, the Beatles' White Album. And again, they were still experimenting with techniques as evident on Revolution 9, with all the backwards effects in the number 9. Yeah, it'll just, after hearing it a while, will just drive you up a wall, number 9. But not a bad album as a whole. And I know the Beatles were kind of going for a bit of tension during the making of this album. Everybody was doing different things, and they were recording separately, so, but it's okay. I quite like it. Number 7 is A Hard Day's Night, 1964. This was the first album, and pretty much I think the first album to feature original compositions, but it was the only album to feature all songs written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Half of it's songs from the film Hard Day's Night, and the other half is just songs for the album. And I really like this album, it's a really good one. I like Hard Day's Night, I Should Have Known Better, If I Fell, And I Love Her, Tell Me Why, Can't Buy Me Love, Anytime At All, Things We Said Today, You Can't Do That, and I'll Be Back's a nice closer. But the whole album is fantastic, and another really great album. It's one that I really like. I like this a lot. I haven't played it for a long time. I have to give it another listen, because it's been a long time since I've heard some of these albums. But here's A Hard Day's Night, number 7. Number 6, another great one. One I was listening to last night, actually. This is Rubber Soul from 1965, and this album's kind of a folky rock sound, but it's one that I really like. I really like this album a lot. I love Drive My Car, Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man, Michelle, What Goes On, Girl, In My Life, If I Needed Someone, and Run For Your Life. But other gems include Think For Yourself, I'm Looking For You. Wait was actually a song they'd recorded during the Help sessions, but they revisited for Rubber Soul. But I really like this album, I really like it. And the cover's great as well. The Beatles albums covers are also cool as well. Quite an interesting story behind it, which I'll hope to talk about one day in another video on this album. Again, this album was kind of rushed because the Beatles recorded it when they came off the road, and they only really made it in about a few weeks. But it's a great album, I really like it. To get it out in time for the Christmas market, it was kind of rushed, but I really like it. I think it's a great album. Rubber Soul from 1965. Next, number 5. Now, not people put this higher, but I think it's good at the top 5. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band from 1967. This is a great album, and a very famous cover as well, one that I'm sure everybody will have seen loads of times. Title track's great, With a Little Help from My Friends is a great song, which quite a few people have covered over the years. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Fixing a Hole, She's Leaving Home, Beating for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, When I'm 64 is a nice number, Beating for the Benefit, Lovely Rita, the Sgt. Pepper Reprise, and A Day in the Life. But the whole album is fantastic. Just a lot of great songs in this album, and I love the gatefold picture as well. But yeah, this is one of the famous albums of all time. It's an album that's many people's favourite, including mine. And it's definitely amongst top 5 in many people's eyes. It's in my top 5 too. It's one that I really like a lot. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I have not heard this album for a long time, but it's one I definitely need to give another listen. Number 4, Help, 1965. And again, like Hard Day's Night, this has songs from the film, and the other half are songs for the album, I think. Again, a really good album, one that I really like. Love the title track, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, I Need You, You're Going to Lose That Girl, Ticket to Ride, Act Naturally, It's Only Love, Tell Me What You See, I've Seen a Face, Yesterday, which is a great song, a very, very well known song, and I really love the cover of Dizzy Miss Lizzy on here, which is a great song, a great rocker at the end of the album. One that I like a lot. Help. It's actually one of the early Beatles records I got on vinyl back when I first became a Beatles fan. And so one I've got kind of special meaning for it. It's one of the first Beatles CDs I owned as well. So it's the first in many ways, one of the first Beatles LPs and CDs I owned. So really, really special one for me as well. There we are. Help. Number 3 is With the Beatles, their second album from 1963. And I really like this album. I really like this one a lot. I really love It Won't Be Long, All I've Got to Do, All My Loving, Don't Bother Me, Till There Was You, Please Mr. Postman, Roll Over Beethoven, Hold Me Tight, I Want to Be Your Man, Devil in Our Heart, Not a Second Time, and the cover of Money, That's What I Want. Now most of these are Lennon McCartney compositions, and most are covers, but George Harrison wrote his first song here called Don't Bother Me, which is a great song, and I really love a lot of the covers in here as well. This is, and I've always loved that cover as well, again with the black and white photo of the Beatles, one of my favourite pictures. And now I really like a lot. Do I think it's as good as Please Please Me? It's just as good as Please Please Me, which we'll talk about later on. Both the first 2 albums are great. There's a kind of, I love the energy in some of these albums and the kind of performances they give on the albums. So number 3 is With the Beatles from 1963. Now we're down to the top 2, and what could they be? Number 2 is Abbey Road from 1969. Again, it's an album I really like a lot. This was kind of like the last album the Beatles recorded together, but it was not the last album they released. Let It Be was the next album. This kind of came when the Beatles had, after the disastrous Let It Be sessions where they were not really getting along. So they wanted to really get together and make an album where they recorded it like they used to. But they got together with the producer George Martin and they recorded it in Abbey Road Studios. And yeah, really great album. I like them a lot. The songs on here come together. Something, Oh Darling, Octopus's Garden, Here Comes the Sun. The medley's great as well, with like Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight in the end. Yeah, just a great album. It's almost like a good way to kind of end the Beatles in a way, because this was the last album they recorded, but like I say, not the last one they released. But you know, they always say that in interviews there's a probability they could have continued, but I think it's a great one, and it really kind of put the recording career on a high, ended it on a high. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. What's the number 1? Woo-hoo. It's Please Please Me, their debut from 1963. A great album and a great starting point for the Beatles' career. There's just something, I really like the energy in this album. I think it's just, I can't explain it, it's just great. I mean, I saw her standing there, Misery, and I go to him, Ask Me Why, Please Please Me, Love Me Do, Baby It's You, Do You Want to Know a Secret, There's a Place, and Twist and Shout brings this album to an energetic climax and close. It's a great album. And one of the things that amazes me about this album is that they recorded it in just one 12-hour session. Not many acts do that nowadays. They usually take months to make an album. But the Beatles did most of it in 12 hours. Pretty big achievement. And considering you wouldn't have known when you listened to the album that John Lennon had a bit of a cold on the day and was struggling to sing for it most of the day, especially when they got to Twist and Shout. They had to do that at the end because they knew it would just blow his voice. And they got it in pretty much one take, I think, Twist and Shout, and it's a great performance. And John really gives it his best, and I really like the vocal performance on here. But yeah, and it's one of the best albums of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. It's one of my favourite albums of all time too. and one of my favourite debut albums in many ways. I think British music would have never been the same had this album not come out, but it's a great starting point for the Beatles. And I've got a lot of great memories about this album as well. One I used to play quite a lot when I got into the Beatles, and I still play it quite a lot nowadays as well. So that's number one, Please Please Me from 1963. And that's that. Thank you very much for watching this ranking video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. I should have another vinyl update coming up quite soon, because I've got a lot of records in over the last week since my last vinyl update. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.